So is the trade picture, the trade market picture becoming a little bit more clear for the Yankees? All right, everybody. Hope you're doing well. So there's been a lot of we're basically waiting to figure out what the Yankees are going to do at either third base or second base, right? Free agency, trades. We've talked about all the options and so on. And I got to give a shout out to the people of the 161 family too for mentioning people that I don't normally think about. I wasn't normally thinking about. So it's credit to everybody in the channel chats and the capos made men in the 161 family to make me think about players that that aren't necessarily on my mind on a regular basis. So I thank you guys and gals for that. So, and if you're a baseball fan, by the way, or a Yankee fan, and you're not subbed to this channel, please do that. Okay, right now, please turn on your notifications too. Okay, and like everybody in the 161 family is important. Everybody, and I thank you all because you folks make the channel better. I really appreciate you. So we're gonna try to get to 30,000 subs this year. We're at 22 now. We're gonna try to blow past 30. Maybe we can get 40. We'll see. We'll see if we can do that. So there's a player that I haven't really been thinking about too much, but a couple of folks in the chats and in my live streams have been kind of planting the seed and just making it more apparent. And to them, I got to give them credit for that. And that's Michael Massie, okay, from Kansas City Royals. Why do I mention him? Well, he's a young player. He's 25 years old. He's got 4 years of control. Okay, he's a second baseman, and he bats lefty. Okay, why is he an option now? I mean, we talked about Brandon Lowe from Tampa Bay Rays, but I think the price is probably going to be pretty high, right? Ha-Seong Kim, the price might be a little high in free agency. There's no guarantee he's going to be ready in April. So, and you got some other folks who talk about Jurickson Profar. I like him as well. Now, some of these guys, if they came here, I'd be fine with it. But with that said, Michael Massie's got 4 years of control left. Okay, and he bats lefty. And the fact of the matter is that the Kansas City Royals traded for Jonathan India, and I don't think they traded for him to get him to learn another position. I think he's going to take over second base, which makes Massie expendable, right? Just a little bit of a sample size in 2023, 15 home runs, 55 ribbies, batted 229. Not flashy stats right now. But he only had 400 at bats. Last year he had 300 at bats at but let's see, 14 home runs, 45 ribbies. Decent production across the board and solid defense. And again, in a smaller sample size of at bats, he's pretty much putting up similar production that Gleyber Torres is putting up with better defense. Okay, and the fact of the matter is, you'd get him for 4 years on the relative cheap. Now, what would it cost? I don't know. The Royals look like they have a surplus of infielders now, so maybe they need an outfielder because I don't think Jonathan India is going to take the outfield spot. So that might be part of the option here. And would it take an infield and an outfield prospect and a pitching prospect to get him? Maybe three prospects to get him. Everson Pereira, I wouldn't hesitate to offer up. And the fact of the matter is, I don't think the Yankees are going to be going with DJ or Oswaldo Cabrera or Oswald Peraza to start at second or third. I just don't think it's going to happen. Okay, Brian Cashman doesn't rule them out because that's his etiquette. He never rules people out. He doesn't show his hand. Doesn't show his cards, right? So that's how Brian Cashman rolls. He doesn't leak. So, and I'm not surprised. And that's why he doesn't rule these folks out. Okay, he would lose leverage if he leaked and said stuff like that, because then he would know his priorities elsewhere, and teams would use that to their advantage. Agents would use that to their advantage. So I get why he does that, but I do think Michael Massie's kind of vaulting higher up on the list. I like Nico Horner as well in the trade market. Talk about him, the other player in the Cubs. We don't know if he's going to be available yet. I mean, they're showing interest in a couple of infield and utility type players, and that might make Horner expendable. Maybe, if he is expendable, he could bat. He could represent our leadoff hitter, and you get decent contact and power production at second base. Okay, and which you'd be able to keep Jazz at third base if you wanted to do that, and you'd be able to keep Jazz at third base for a guy like Michael Massie too. And again, Massie, I do think the next bat would be likely better to be lefty. Okay, Massie, I think, would probably bat in the middle of the lineup. Where you could put Cody Bellinger second. You can even back Massey fourth if you wanted to, or Paul Goldschmidt fourth in between Stanton. And you can bat Massey sixth or seventh. It lengthens your lineup to the degree you're not limited to certain spots in the lineup, which is good. Okay. Last year we had like 3 guys and then a big drop off between the rest of the lineup. This year we're going to be longer in the lineup, more versatile, more athletic, more flexible. So it's going to be a different look in the lineup. And again, we know already that there's not a single player who could replace Juan Soto's production, but the Yankees have done a good job at pivoting and moving on pretty quickly and addressing multiple needs. So I've said that they brought in Devin Williams and Max Fried, and as a starting pitcher and a reliever or a closer, both of those guys had the best ERA in baseball in the last half decade. Fried and Williams, they're both here now with the Yankees. So they've also improved pretty significantly in the infield defense too. Paul Goldschmidt, first base, wartime Gold Glover. Okay, and you have a full year of Jazz instead of a half year of Jazz. You'd have a year of development for Anthony Volpe, and you put a guy like Massie or someone like that at second base. It's all the lookings of a pretty darn good infield. So I do think Michael Massie's name is kind of starting to work its way up the list as guys who are more likely to be a trade candidate. And again, free agency, my guess is Ha-Seong Kim is probably going to be the guy. But, and the good thing about the Yankees of having guys like Oswaldo Cabrera and so on, that if Kim isn't necessarily ready yet when the season starts, guys like Cabrera and Praz and the rest of them could be placeholders for that. But do they really want to be placeholders? I don't know. To me, Oswaldo Cabrera, I want him to be similar to what Ben Zobrist was for the Cubs and the Royals, right? Our Swiss Army knife, our utility guy. And he would be number one weapon off the bench, just like a guy like Ben Rice. Be another one who could be the backup catcher and first base. He can do that too. Those are 2 valuable pieces on the bench. Beyond that, it could be either Trent Grisham or Brennan Davis as the outfielder, okay, and to be the 4th outfielder, and leaves room for another spot. But the bottom line is the bench needs to get better. They do need to get better. But just keep that name in mind, Michael Massie, okay? He could be a guy, and I could see him fitting pretty seamlessly into the lineup. And again, with the sample size of bats, you give him a full season of productivity and a little bit of a better lineup here. I think he could be, he could be a 20, 25 home run guy, 75, 80 ribby guy with good defense at second base, right? Solid contact across the board, adding a valuable asset, again, to the lineup, okay? And I do think you add Massie, you have Bellinger there, and then you have Goldschmidt, 3 additions to the lineup. That's a pretty darn good addition to the lineup this offseason. I still don't think any team has been as busy and as productive as the Yankees have this offseason. Other teams have had pretty good offseasons, but I think the Yankees have gotten better than most, even though they've lost one of the biggest pieces in the game, right? So give me your thoughts on this. Can you see Massie being a fit? And for those that planted the seed and make me thinking about him, thank you. I should have been thinking about him more often. I should have. So I give you all the credit in the world for that. So Massie's, again, like my top candidates right now, it's probably Massie. If Nico Horner becomes available, Nico Horner and probably Ha-Seong Kim. Okay, Brandon Lowe is an option for me too, but I think the cost might be a little bit high. And I'm not giving up George Lombard or Spencer Jones for 2 years of Brandon Lowe. Sorry, I'm not doing it. So if they ask for that, no guarantee. I would give up Roderick Garris only because he's blocked by George Lombard. So there's that. So Roderick Garris, maybe. Roderick Garris I would give to the Cubs for Nico Horner. I would give to the Royals for Michael Massie. And maybe add Everson Pereira to that, right? And then you can add a pitching prospect, add Will Warren to it or something like that. And then you got a starter, an infielder, and an outfielder. To any team, Cubs or the Royals, that are willing to part with a guy like that with several controllable years and 4 controllable years on Michael Massie, that's exactly what Brian Cashman is looking for. I mean, the fact is they're at $302 million right now on the payroll. Okay, 302. Now that Paul Goldschmidt's signing is official, and obviously Johnny Loiza's signing is official, so they're going to need to do some smart accounting for the rest of the way, intelligent. So, whether it be trading away pieces like Marcus Stroman and Trent Grisham, but we'll see if that happens or not. We don't know. I don't know. If they do, they do. But this gives them an opportunity to get a valuable piece at second base with controllable years that won't blow up their payroll for the next several years, too. They have a lot of money coming off the books the next 3 or 4 years. They do have a lot. So a lot of it's considered wasted money this year. But nothing you can do about that now. Nothing. So I think Michael Massie represents a good fit here. And again, would I be opposed to hassling him? No, but it's going to cost money. Just like Jurickson Profile is going to cost money for agency. Okay. Would they be solid? Yep. But at this point, let's just assume that they won't be trading Marcus Stroman. Just assume that. They're going to need to make a move like this. Horner even makes about $11 million a year at second base for the Cubs. Okay, Massie is probably the most cost affordable option for the Yankees without sacrificing much production. So to me, the value is there at second base in acquiring him. But you give me your thoughts on this. I'd love to know what you're thinking. And again, is somebody that we're not thinking about in addition to these guys that we should be. Speak up. Say your words. Let us know. And I'll look into them. I promise you. So have a great day, everybody. Peace and love to everybody in the 161 family. You are the best. Yeah, I love all of yous. And if anything else comes out today, especially if it's valuable news, you're going to get it. Peace.